Sir, I rise to speak about challenges with our public health and food safety. See, when we get sick, we put medicines and drugs in our body, which is very highly regulated. There's a strong drug regulatory framework. But what makes us sick is eating poor food and adulterated food, and that isn't regulated as strongly. So I'd like to highlight the crisis of food adulteration in the food supply chain and the alarming issue of food safety in our restaurants. We have seen a lot of this in the media and many governments trying to address it. But I'd like to highlight certain points, sir. Firstly, it's the regulatory framework which I think is not as strong as it should be. And the other is the penalties right now are too lenient for those who do any mistake. So we are seeing a lot of establishments really deviate from this and get away with a lot of adulteration and a lot of mixing of very unhealthy ingredients into the food that customers are consuming. The food testing infrastructure is also not very good. That has to be strengthened. So my suggestion, sir, is to address this. There are a couple of things that can happen. One is ensure that the penalties become much stronger and ensure that GST benefit is given to those who maintain food safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker, sir. I would like to ask the Honourable Minister, during the financial year 23-24, about 212 crores was sanctioned, but only 50% was released. And 24-25, about 420 crores were sanctioned and 21% was released. This is because the state government, the guideline shows that the state government, it is their duty to transfer to the accounts, both the state share and central share, but that did not happen with the previous government, sir. This has impacted the implementation of PM Shri in our state of Andhra Pradesh. I would like to ask the Honourable Minister, what are the steps taken for the smooth implementation of PM Shri in our state of Andhra Pradesh to protect the students? Thank you.
A total of 855 PM Shri schools have been recognized in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Honourable Member has spoken about the pace of expenditure as per financial guidelines. Andhra Pradesh in year 24-25, total of 177 crores almost has been released. That's the center share that I'm talking about. Thank you.
Sir, I am grateful and Honourable Minister for giving more than 1,000 crores in second year for Pradhan Mantri School for Raising India in Andhra Pradesh. Sir, for Pradhan Mantri School for Raising India, there is a need for additional requirements like lab technicians, computer operators, separate rooms for vocational education, teaching and learning material, sanitary pad, disposable machines, solar panels for sustainability. So, I would like to know from the Honourable Minister, will he consider providing these facilities for PM School for Raising India schools in Anakapalli, or giving recurring to grant state for 3-4 years to sustain this scheme, sir?
Sir, to implement this scheme, a national school quality assessment framework is prepared. And our ministry regularly looks at, reviews the status of implementation. Total of 35 PM Shri schools are there in Anakapalli, and 22 metrics as per NEP are regularly tracked. Honourable Ministers, Honourable MPs talked about physics lab, chemistry lab. I would like to inform him that 82% coverage is in this metric. And of course, if the state sends a proposal, a firm proposal, we will follow due process.
Thank you, sir. I rise to speak in favor of the Bill of Lading, Bill 2024. So largely the intention to really provide legal framework and ensure that any open ends are tied up with this bill is a part of the larger agenda to improve and strengthen the maritime sector. And we support this. In the recent past also we've seen incidents of illegal goods being shipped in, but then the question mark arises on who takes ownership of it, who has the liability for it. I'm glad that this bill does that and also gives flexibility to the central government to issue directions as and where needed based on the current changing circumstances. Speaking about the maritime sector overall, sir, I'm happy to see that our overall cargo handling capacity has doubled from about 800 million tons per annum to about 1630 million tons per annum as of March 24. Indicating the commitment of the NDA government towards developing maritime trade. 9 Indian ports are ranked amongst the top 100 ports globally, and I'm sure over the years many more will show up on those rankings. We're seeing how global events are disrupting maritime trade, like the Russia-Ukraine war, that are leading to shipping delays, higher costs, and impacting all our industries. And a large part of our trade, over 95%, happens through the shipping sector, and 70% of the value comes from the shipping sector. So, sir, there are many things that we need to do to ensure that we remain competitive and increasingly compete with the global market in this. I think the resources that need to be put in this direction, I have a few points on that, sir, which I would like to put in front of you to the government also. One is the high freight costs that have increased in the last few years because of the global uncertainty. How do we reduce that? The next is the shortage of containers. I think India should invest more into developing our own containers. The dependence of carriers from international companies, I think doing more manufacturing. So recently, the Hindustan Shipbuilding Yard in Visakhapatnam was awarded a contract for building 3 ships. I think we need to be doing a lot more of that, and not just building more ships, but building the so-called motherships, the really large ships which require drafts of 18 meters or more. In fact, in Visakhapatnam, we are unable to receive that because our draft sometimes doesn't meet that depth requirement. And the major disincentive right now is that the shipping lines are expected to invest into that dredging behavior, which often doesn't happen. So the request is, if the government can provide a dredging subsidy to places like Visakhapatnam and other parts of the country, I think we will be able to bring in and reduce the transshipment costs so that we'll be able to do it in our ports itself. The next, sir, is within the shipping ecosystem, a small request from my parliament. We have invested about 100 crores to develop a cruise terminal in Vizag port. But not having an e-visa facility over there is limiting our ability to conduct more cruises over there. Request that the government takes a favorable view on that. I also want to appreciate the government for the turnaround time in major ports. In 2013-14, it was about 94 hours. Now it has come down to 48 hours in 23-24, showing a massive improvement in the efficiency of the shipping sector. And there are many other points, but overall, I think investment into this would be critically relevant for our future, and Andhra Pradesh would be very happy to partner on this, because recently we have announced our maritime policy. We have almost 1,000-kilometer coastline, and we have notified about 14 ports, both large and minor. And we will actively seek the support of the central government and support any regulation that makes this industry more transparent, more agile, and more ready to adapt to the changing global conditions and make us a competitive force in the maritime trade. Thank you.